everybody. I was driving home today listening to a Belinda CD. After a while I noticed that my face was wet, and it slowly dawned on me that I was actually crying. At first I didn't put two and two together, because why on earth would I be crying at a Belinda CD? It didn't make sense to me, and here I was, weeping, driving behind tears. The music stirred in me memories, not exactly picture memories of my childhood, but more like memories of the feelings I had at the time. I was feeling emotions and inner sensations that I hadn't felt in maybe 20 years or more. Yet still I didn't know why this would make me cry. To my head it didn't make any sense at all, but to my heart, I guess it was clear as crystal. And here I sit, talking to you, still trying to make sense of it. I guess it's because my heart was remembering what it felt like when life was perfect. When I was a child, I was wrapped in a perfect, loving, warm, safe, and amazingly secure bubble of love. Life really was perfect. My heart was untarnished by the world, and I was truly happy. I experienced love as never before, from my mother, from family, but also from within myself. Love for others, love for my family, love for the world. Unashamed and happy to give that love to others. Life wasn't easy for my family when I was growing up. We had very little money for food or things we needed, but we were abundantly rich in love. The only true worry I had was that of my mother's health. I would cry tears against her chest, begging her not to die. But other than that, there were really no worries at all. As children, my siblings and myself knew that life wasn't easy for our family. We knew all very well of the bigger picture, of the lack of money and resources. We were bullied and teased for many reasons, and we had our own infighting and squabbling, but even though we knew these things, because of the love given to us, we wanted for nothing. Truly, no family was richer in love than ours, and it was this love that made us never even notice what we lacked. For with love, we truly lacked nothing. We lived in a 2-up, 2-down terraced house. My brother and I in bunk beds in our parents' room, and my sister had her own room, no larger than a prison cell. Belinda was one of the very first artists I ever listened to when I was growing up in the 1980s. She was on TV, on the radio, in my sister's CD player, and indeed everywhere. I remember the feeling of walking into my sister's room, the feel of the green carpet beneath my feet. I remember the feeling of seeing my mother stood over the stove on a Sunday dinner time in the summertime. I remember the smell of my father and the roughness of his face when he was yet to shave. I remember wanting to change the world and believing that love saved all. I remember the feeling of Sunday school and how I didn't want the old ladies to kiss me, but they did. I remember seeing my grandfather laying in his coffin. He looked so peaceful. I remember the feeling of not understanding how life can be here 1 minute, but then not the next, like the flicker of a light switch. I remember my sister's boyfriends. I remember her best friend Anne, and how she would take me for walks in the market. I remember seeing my brother skip school and finding his cigarettes. But how we also got on so well, my brother and I. I remember coming home from school and finding out that the television presenter Jill Dando had been murdered, and me crying for the loss, because she was such a lovely lady, someone that you don't meet very often. I remember Margaret Thatcher being re-elected, and how happy I was for there being a woman in charge, a woman of strength and character, a role model. I remember the feeling of being held by my mother, the warmth of her body, the tickle of her cardigan, and the love we shared, and indeed still share. Of course, there are infinite numbers of memories. and they can all be felt again just for listening to Belinda Carlisle. Life was perfect. It is no surprise to me that life is not perfect now. There are many a great personal hurt that scar my heart. The comfort of childhood has waned like the death of a prettiful rose, but the love in my heart remains. The tears I cry are mourning tears for the death of childhood, for the crumbling of our human fragility, for the loss of health and happiness, for the breakdown of relationships, for the loss of control, of love, and of potential. But at the very same time, happy tears mingle with the sad stream that flows down my face, and they crystallize the happy memories that form a protective and comforting prism around my heart. And all this from a song. Bye-bye for now.